everybody thinks in football or any sport that it's only losing where the pressure mounts. It's not. Because if you're winning, you've got to keep winning and the pressure's there. So it's the same both ends. It's not if you're successful that this all disappears. It doesn't. Because there's a similar amount of pressure to be successful, to be not successful, if you know what I mean. You understand what I'm trying to say? So it's not just about losing where you're put under immense pressure. You're also put under immense pressure to keep winning.
It's across the board, though, isn't it, that mindset? Because even in business or any kind of sector, it's like if you're doing well in business, then the pressure's there to continue doing well, because then you've got your employees that are relying on you and all the overheads and everything.
Keep using that word, expectation.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're doing well in business, you're expected to keep doing well, aren't you?
Absolutely. And then it's CEOs or MDs that are also struggling with mental health, because they've got not only the pressure of making sure that the business is doing well, but also the pressure of the fact that they've got employees, and that these employees have got families that they're supporting, and the wages and everything else that comes along with it. There's a lot of pressure.
And ultimately, everybody's a human being.
Yes.
And human beings throughout their life have a variety of problems that nobody outside of their inner circle will know about. Like I say, it could be a bereavement, it could be a divorce, it could be financial. There are so many different life stresses that we go through as human beings that can affect performance at work, whether it's a football, whether it's a manager or a player, or whether it's in business. The person at the very top of the business having to make life-changing decisions for a 200-strong workforce or whatever. These all come, but ultimately we keep coming back to how important it is to talk
Absolutely
about all these issues and find that person that will give you their ear. And actually, even because ultimately sometimes it's too late because something's happened, and like we've already discussed, you didn't have a clue that person was a little bit anxious or depressed or whatever. So just simply asking, how you doing?
Sometimes it's the happiest people, isn't it, that are struggling because they've got this mask on, and once they've gone home and the mask has come off, that's when they are who their authentic self. But ultimately, outside in their social circle and across social media, they come across, and there are celebrities as well that have come across like they're the comedian and the life and soul of a party, but the reality is they're struggling behind closed doors.
Yeah, I used to bring in a guy from the SAS. He goes around and he talks to people within inside your club, and I used to bring him in not just for the players, more so for the staff, because people forget about the staff. It's all about the players. And he always used to say that who's the first person you look at in the morning? Is yourself in the mirror, whether you're having a wash or whatever. And you dictate what your day is going to be from the moment you look at yourself in the mirror. It's going to be a happy day, or you get up and you go, I'm really tired. So you're going to go into the day being tired, because that's what you've convinced yourself with. And he used to try and change the mindset all the time, and the biggest thing he used to say was to talk about people. Talk, get to talk, even if it's codswallop, just sometimes just go and talk, because eventually when you're talking rubbish, a little bit of truth there'll be something there that shows that this person's crying out for help. He said, and it's being able to spot that. And as I said, that's why I used to bring him in with the staff, because, what's the saying, who motivates the motivator and everything else. Yeah. But you've got lots of motivators within that group.
Absolutely.
And you've got to keep them.
And those are coping mechanisms as well, aren't they? So you've brought them in to help with different ways of coping. What other kind of coping mechanisms would you say? I mean, when I worked with students previously, like I mentioned before, I was teaching them how to meditate and about mindfulness. What other kind of strategies would you say are good as a coping mechanism? sports is a really good one.
Yeah, exercise is widely known to be beneficial to not just physical health, but mental health. We were discussing before, weren't we, before we started filming, about Ronnie O'Sullivan, the snooker player, arguably the greatest snooker player of all time, had a few issues and took up running.
Yes.
And he's like Forrest Gump now, apparently. Like he runs. So exercise, joking aside, is a really, really good one. Now, whether that's that you exercise with a friend or you want your own space, you can switch off. And there's no doubt about it that the happy endorphins that exercise releases are very, very good for you. Very, very good for you. So it's one. I mean, I'm a golfer. Dave's a golfer, I know. Mel less so.
Thanks, lads. I just make the numbers up.
But joking,
ball spot out.
ball spot, yeah, well, ball spot.
Yeah.
But joking aside, that sort of 3, 4, 5 hours you're spending with a group of like-minded people that enjoy the same things
Absolutely.
that you do, and that care, and that might during the round say how's it going or whatever, and at that moment you might feel, do you know what, I can talk about my problems while I'm playing golf in the fresh air, and so on and so forth. So golf has been a massive part of my life.
I think listening to people is important. Very, very important. And not, as I said before, not saying, oh no, how you feel. Because you really don't. And I know that I had lots of people within my career coming in to sit down and wanting just to talk. And sometimes you haven't got the time or whatever. It was trying to make time to make sure that what the person wants to say, they get the opportunity to say it.
Sometimes it's just those 5 minutes, isn't it? And it's spotting the signs. I mean, you've touched on golfing, and that's got the sports element, that's got the fresh air, the walking, the talking, just the socialising as well. Some people prefer not to talk, and some people prefer the way that they're going to cope is to just be on their own. And maybe I like to go out on, drive and just with the roof down and music blasting, like that's my happy place. But there's some people that would rather just sit and colour or just read or just walk, and some people would like to talk. So although we say it's good to talk, it's about finding that coping mechanism.
Listen, personally about myself, and my wife will tell you, she calls it Dave's time. I will go off and I will either just lie on the bed and read or go on my iPad and scroll through whatever. But that's my time. That is, maybe that's having 4 kids and 2 dogs and a wife. you got to find something. I know my wife would rather sit and talk, where I'm the opposite to that. I'd rather not divulge, sort of try and figure it out myself. And I mightn't figure it out myself or whatever, but that's that's one of my mechanisms. I know that for the fact that I will just go. I used to find driving to work and driving home was my time, my thinking time.
Yeah.
After this sound, whether it be half an hour or an hour, whatever it was, that was the time I sorted out what I was going to do in my day or the next day or whatever. So maybe that was I don't know, but maybe that was my mechanism.